411 Live.
Where you can learn about issues that impact us every day. State of world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. Boy, your girl, 411 Live.
The average sex trafficker has 5 girls making about $100,000 annually. The high-end traffickers are making millions. They have young men, women, and even children. It's a form of modern-day slavery, and many of them like to brand their property. This is a serious topic. Hello, thank you for tuning in. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. We are embarking on an endeavor, a multi-part project to bring attention to sex trafficking, human trafficking, specifically sex trafficking, and also the healing process from the trauma that it causes. Our main goal is to bring awareness and to increase the discussion about this issue because we think it is very, very important. Well, today we're going to talk about trafficking and specifically about tattooing and branding. And I have some very special guests with me, 3 of them, in fact. And I want to introduce you to them. Now, Juan Bucio. Bucio. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay. Wonderful. And you are the owner of Laserfi Tattoo, correct?
That is correct.
And where is that?
That's located off of 35th and Forest Home.
Okay, very good. We also have Nikki Hughes, Serenity Inc. And where's that?
Yeah, it's off of 51st and Howard.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
And we have Laura Johnson, who brings a personal perspective to this whole topic. So I thank you for joining us too.
Thank you.
All right. I was talking about it being a form of modern day slavery when you think of tattooing, branding. Now, tattooing in itself, I mean, you walk around, everybody has a tattoo. But the reason for the tattoo is very different when it comes to sex trafficking. And Laura, I want to start with you because you do have that personal perspective. Okay. Tell me, first of all, how old were you when you were sex trafficked?
14.
That's young.
Yeah, I was 14.
And so in that process, where did the tattooing come into play?
I got branded in Chicago.
Really?
Yes.
And at what age?
I was 15.
You were 15?
I was about 15.
What is the process of that? I'm assuming the trafficker is a man.
Yeah.
Okay. So he says, let's go get a tattoo, or how did that come about?
No, we just went and went to a regular shop where they were doing tattoos. Mm-hmm. Back then, nobody was looking out for like human sex trafficking survivors or victims or whatnot. And it was a male that did the tattoos. And so it's about 6 of us that got tattoos. Each one of us had the barcode with a number. And basically for the barcode personally, you know, like how when you buy things,
right?
Those are like a product to be sold, like, so you can be sold over and over. That's what the barcode means. So yeah, it was just a regular tattoo place where we went and got tattoos. And my tattoo out of everybody tattoos was really, really lightly because I was very, very defiant. Uh-huh. Extremely defiant. I knew that what he was doing wasn't right. And I knew that I wasn't supposed to be getting a tattoo. Even though I didn't have permission from my mom, I just knew that I didn't want that. You know, that ain't something that I wanted. And I knew that my first tattoo would be something that is meaningful.
Okay. Now we definitely know what the barcode is. I mean, when you go to Walmart or whatever, yes. It's scan, scan, scan. At 15, did you know the significance of that barcode?
No, not until after I got out of trafficking. Honestly, I didn't really know the meaning of that tattoo until I was like 24 years old. Like, by the time I got it covered, I was about 21, 22 when I got it covered. Mm-hmm. And I'm 33 now, so I've been having I had it covered for a while now.
Right.
I didn't even know that I was trafficked even when I got out of trafficking. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know any of that. Personally, because there was no like help for like survivors, or there was no groups, or there was nobody talking about it. There was nothing out here like it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you had that tattoo, and you said there were like 6 of you that went in at a time. So everybody had a different number, or
Yeah, it was a different number. The numbers were like the day that he met you, and like my number, I don't even really like to talk about that, because it's something like that I'm kind of like covered and like healed from and moved past.
Yeah.
And now I got a butterfly. The numbers is like basically the time that he met you.
Right. So you knew whether or not you knew exactly what sorry about that. Whether or not you knew exactly what the barcode was, you knew it was, his.
I knew that it wasn't right, and why are we getting the same thing but different numbers? Yeah. And at the time, I didn't even realize what the number was. Mm-hmm. Like, I really didn't, and it clicked in my head like, this is around the same time that we met. It didn't click, and I didn't realize any of this until I became an adult out of trafficking. Until I had found out that I had really survived trafficking. Because I thought it was like more of a prostitution sting, or like I was part of like this big bust, or that's what I didn't know. That I didn't realize any of this stuff until I became an adult.
Right. When you at 15 as a teenager, you knew you didn't like it.
No.
Didn't like it.
No.
So where was it?
It was on the back of my neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say when a person saw it, commented on it, or asked you about it?
Well, personally, I always wore long hair because of the lifestyle. So not that many people outside of the life of trafficking didn't know that I had the tattoo. Like, I don't even think some of my cousins realized I had the tattoo, honestly. But I know that my little sister did, because my little sister was with me when I got it covered.
The other question that I have for you was, knowing that you didn't like it,
right?
Knowing that he made you guys do it, knowing that it was instituted by him, he initiated it. How did that thing when you look in the mirror, or how did it make you feel? It
made me feel humiliating. It made my self-esteem low. It made me feel like I was nobody. It made me feel like I couldn't make decisions on my own. It made me feel powerless. It made me feel hopeless. I didn't feel like anybody.
Yeah. That whole branding thing. That goes back. You think of slavery, and you think of branding a cow or a horse, or your stable, and that whole thing. It's a whole psychological thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you two, bringing you into the conversation as well. Juan, I know that you started your business almost 2 years ago. Is that right?
The venture started about 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago. Okay. And shortly after that, you met a victim of sex trafficking.
That is correct.
How did that happen?
So an organization reached out to me and asked me if I'd be willing to give them a discount. And at the time I thought, sure, why not? No problem. What are you looking for? And they wanted about 25%. And I said, sure, that's fine. I'd gladly do it. So when they sent in their first victim, and I shouldn't say victim, their survivor, they came in, and obviously I knew who it was because it was being referred. So they came in, and she had to fill out some paperwork, and we started to talk, and she was very open about what was going on, and she was very nervous, and at the same time seemed like she was excited to get this started. And so then we went into the treatment room, and I looked at it, and I don't ask questions like, why did you get it? Why are you getting it off? Anything. That's none of my business, So so when we began, I just told her that it was a little dark and a little aggressive, and it had already some scarring. So I told her that that because there's some scarring after I removed the tattoo, you're still going to see some of that scarring. And I showed her with a light the actual bump that you can see on the tattoo, and then that's when she just started talking, and and the story that she told me
Blew your mind.
it absolutely pierced me. And I remember thinking, there's no way I can accept this money. She has, bills to pay. She has, to put food on the table for her and her children. And she's lost her job 3 times now because they have what's known as triggers, moments where they all of a sudden start feeling like, they're about to be kidnapped and taken back and, beaten and put back into this trade. So, and because of that, she keeps losing her job because she just is trying to figure out how to rehabilitate herself back into society. So I couldn't accept any money. So from there and thereafter, I decided, Laserfied will not be charging for victims or survivors of human trafficking. So then I think I want to reach out to as many people as possible, but I think the hardest thing that we're having now is person-to-person referrals. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are coming to Laserfied saying, "Hey, we heard you do free tattoo removal for survivors. I'm a survivor and I have some tattoos that are associated with it, and I have to point them towards an organization. You have to go to an organization and you have to go through them because I can't take person-to-person referrals because there's no way for me to verify." Right. One way or the other, if it's true, but if they go through an organization, it's more likely that they are truly survivors.
Wow, that's amazing. So I can just imagine, being a male too, hearing this story. Had you ever heard anything like this before?
The story. It's almost like a movie, It's like, this is impossible. This doesn't really happen in real life, mm-hmm. and it's happening in real life, right. To think that somebody can have their security, their well-being taken from them, where they no longer feel human because they feel like they're a piece of property and there's nowhere they can go, there's no one they can run to. Everybody says, well, you put yourself in that situation, which is what she said, that people would say. That's just unacceptable in today's society. That just it's unbelievable that it's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure when you tell your story, Laura, people are going.
That's why I'm just doing a documentary and just putting it out there, and then they can call me later.
Right.
Because it gets overwhelming.
And just to let you know, Laura is part of a docuseries that is part of this multi-part project that I mentioned, and it takes you into the world of sex trafficking and, through her personal story. So that is courageous for you to even do that. Thank you. We thank you because I'm sure you're going to help a lot of people. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, so stay with us.
Human trafficking is a global issue that is happening locally. This is a problem that we cannot ignore.
Being so scared on that hotel bed and wish I had my mommy. Going back into that feeling of, man, what am I getting myself into?
She rests her head on the prison to which she's chained.
I'm standing there and I can't move. I can't go nowhere, I'm stuck.
Drug into this spider's web, and she can't untangle herself to freedom.
Him telling me how pretty I am and what I can do to trick guys out of money and what I need to do and how much money I need to bring back, and him making me change into different lingeries to take pictures of me to put me on Craigslist. Now I'm a product to be sold.
Beneath this ground we walk is a hell of movement in a forced direction. Gridlocked, traffic lights, sex, currency, bodies, stock, fear, monopolized, auction, blocks.
Another job, he come another, and then just being sold over and over and over and over.
Minds groomed to be immune to pain.
And you used to it, and you just lay there.
Numb, desensitized, innocence, drained,
I went from that scared little girl, from the foster care, from being molested by my stepbrother, by my foster brother, uh, to being a lonely little girl stuck in a house, so scared with my mother, to being trafficked.
Welcome back. We are talking sex trafficking, tattooing, and branding. I have 3 guests with me. Juan Bucio, he is the owner of Laserfied Tattoo Removal, Nikki Hughes, Serenity Inc., and Laura Johnson, who brings that personal perspective because she was forced to get a tattoo. Now, we got a little bit of Juan's story, how he got into this and started removing tattoo from sex trafficked survivors. Nikki, you were listening to Laura's story.
Yeah.
And Laura talked about covering up that barcode, and she has a beautiful butterfly on the back of her neck. And that's what you have started to do, cover tattoos?
Yeah, definitely.
So how does that work? How, they come in and they just say, you got to do something with this.
That's honestly how the conversation starts about 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Basically, people come in, we take walk-ins off the street, or we do appointments too. It just kind of depends on, the day and the tattoo, honestly. For cover-ups, it does take a little bit more work and a little bit more thought being put into it, being, with it being, covering an existing piece. You want to make sure everything fits in the right spots and, covers where it needs to. But the main thing is especially with cover-ups, is you don't want it to be just like a stamp right over it. You want it to have some flow to it and be able to not really tell that there was anything underneath it to begin with, even kind of distract from it. So
I know when we were talking on the phone and you were saying that you think, you've seen sex trafficked victims or survivors coming through. But like Juan, you're not having that conversation. You're not asking them, why do you want this tattoo covered?
For sure.
So because that's their personal story. Whether or not they tell you, that doesn't matter. But for both of you, I just wonder, what do you get out of this?
I mean, for me personally, it's not about what I get out of it. I am more concerned about helping them along the healing process. Just to be a part of that is humbling in and of itself. The fact that they're going to trust yet another person with their body after it's been, violated, or, they've lost that trust before. So it can be a very emotional and a very moving thing, getting rid of something that's has such significance to that person. Just being able to help them along the way is awesome.
Yeah. How about you, Juan?
For myself, I think it started immediately with that first survivor. You get an immediate sense of gratification when you do it. You see the excitement on their face. You see how excited they are the next time they come by, and it's faded out even more, and they're starting to see it leave more and more, and so for me, it's just an immediate gratification for the work that I do to see the reactions that my clients have when I do the treatments.
Yeah. Have you seen any tears?
That first one, and she misinterpreted when you get a tattoo removal or a treatment. You have what's known as frosting, and that makes the tattoo look very light. So immediately she thought, oh my God, it's immediately starting to disappear. And then the tears started to come, and I thought it was because she was in a little bit of pain. And I said, I'm sorry, did it hurt a lot? And, she kind of wiped her tears. She said, no, it's just I'm erasing a part of my past, and I don't have to look at it anymore. And that was piercing, and then you see that, and you can't help but to become emotional. Like you can't help but to become emotional to see the trauma that they've went through, and just to have a treatment like that being removed means so much to them, and you can be a part of them immediately impact their life.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That is special. Laura, how was it when you got that butterfly?
Well, I felt free.
Yeah.
So I got the butterfly. I always loved butterflies. Even as a kid, I loved butterflies. And for me, I would always say, well, if I could be anything in the world, I'd rather be a butterfly because I can fly. I don't have to worry about talking to nobody. I could just be beautiful and just keep it moving, basically. And so that was just a symbol of free, being free. And that's what it means to me. So yeah, I got a butterfly.
That moment when that person finished that butterfly and said, "Here's the mirror, take a look."
He did a lot more than what I thought he was gonna do, because then he added some stars like down my arm. Like he was so happy to be able to do it. Then I found out later on down the road, bro, he was my cousin on my father's side, which was really cool, right?
Oh my gosh.
So, which was really cool because I'm like, it's a small world. And it was crazy how I ended up finding, I'm like, he was the same person who did my tattoo, and it was my cousin on my father's side.
Wow.
So, and that's where God led me. God led me to him to do it. I had been looking at his work for a while. And then I also took someone with me to
Your
get
sister.
it done. I took my little sister with me. So she was the one that was with me when I got it done.
Did she help you pick it out?
No, I instantly knew what I wanted.
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted the butterfly. I instantly knew what I wanted. And by my tattoo being super light, he was like, that's perfect. I mean, it can fit. It's perfect. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, because otherwise I would have had to get a butterfly somewhere else. And then I probably would have ended up with something crazy back there that I didn't want. So I was grateful for that.
Have you seen a lot like the other 5 who ended up with the barcode? How do they still have the barcode?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still have the barcode. We was from different places, so I didn't get the chance to like say bye or see them again. But I'm hoping as this movement continue, I hope I get the chance to see them again, because hopefully they got out of the life and made it out.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that one day I will see them again. I think that's gonna be. I think that's possible. I think it's gonna happen.
That's great.
I just haven't ran into them yet.
That's great.
So yeah.
Yeah. Do you run it, because I know that you are an advocate. I mean, you're speaking, you have speaking engagements, spreading the awareness of sex trafficking. Do you run into a lot of women or survivors who have tattoos or brands?
Yes. And I also ran into a couple of them that also was doing a laser remover, and a lot of people that got them covered up.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So that, are they all saying the same thing you are? It's freeing?
Yeah, it's it feel like you basically gain some type of strength of your life back.
Mhm.
You gain some sense of ownership.
Yeah.
I'm my own owner of me,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So say you have a scenario where a trafficker comes in, 2, 3 girls wanting the same tattoo. What's the red flag of you knowing that that's a trafficker and that's what he's doing?
I would say where they're getting the tattoo at, how big it is, what is it? I would say what to do about it. The solution, realistically, I would try to talk to one of the girls on one-on-one. I wouldn't even try to call the police because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how, like, if my mind is playing tricks on me. I would really try to, like, talk to one of the girls while I'm tattooing them. Let them know, like, is this something you want to? And sometimes you really just have that notion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some things you just know. Like, is red is red. You know that's red because it looks red, right? So things like you really, your inner self will tell you. Your inner notion will let you know that this is not right. I probably would, like, honestly, me, knowing who I am, I would probably would call the police on the side, but act like, but make sure I keep my identity closed, just to see if they, like, and let them know what's going on. I would try to get a license plate if they're in the vehicle. I would try to get as much description on his mail as possible. So yeah, those are some of the things that I would do if I was in that same environment. And if a guy walked in with 2 or 3 girls, all wanting the same tattoo, those are some of the things that I would do.
So just the idea of somebody wanting the same tattoo is a red flag. Most people want different tattoos.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, just
No?
because there are a lot of people that come in with groups, that want tattoos with their friends or with their family.
And they're
or-
doing some wild stuff.
For sure, for sure. And it's not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's a red flag just to get matching tattoos,
Right.
but like you were saying, just as far as like placement and as far as the subject matter, those are some things that you can definitely look out for and keep an eye out for any of those little red flags that you'd mentioned.
What are the placements that a sex trafficker might prefer?
A lot of quotes are on their back. Not so much the arm. A lot of the quotes are on the back because they want it big. They want it loud. A lot of the tattoos are on the neck. Some of them are on the arm. Some of them are on the legs. The most obvious place is the neck. The most obvious place.
On the back of the neck?
On the
side?
back. Yeah.
And like you mentioned, you said it was about ownership too,
Yes.
right? They like to implement their name somewhere,
Yeah.
their initials somewhere. Those little red flags that you're like, okay, why are you getting this person's name tattooed on your chest when you've only known them for a couple weeks? And it's little things like that where, like you said, you just have to really trust your gut. And as a tattooer, you do have that say in whether or not you're going to follow through with this. You don't necessarily have to put this on that person just because they're here, and even if you tell them no, they could go to another shop. However, you told them no, and you're making it harder for them to even, get to that point. So by you saying no and just kind of deterring it, I'm sure would help the situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just having that stopping point, that hesitation in there
Definitely.
may make people think twice.
Yeah. Definitely.
Maybe. So when you guys, because you're helping to change lives, making a difference, hearing her talk about what that means, what kind of thoughts are going through your head?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think like when she was saying that she hopes to run across other survivors, that's fantastic. That's the end goal of everything that you want to do is to help those that are in need just get out of where they're at. So hearing that, you can't help but to smile. You can't help but to shake your head like, wow, that's great. That's fantastic. I wish there were more stories like that, but it's when you start talking about human trafficking, I think a lot of people aren't even aware how bad it's gotten in Milwaukee, and those that I've talked about or talked to, they have no idea where to begin, how to help, how to participate and be a part of, being proactive as opposed to reactive. Everything that I'm doing is a reactive action. I'm doing something that's after the fact that had already happened. So I would love to be on the other side, being proactive and preventing that from being there. So it's ever since this has happened, I've been, I'm a thinker and I stay up at night just thinking about all kinds of nonsense. But and these are things that keep me up, like to say, what could I have done? Because I think that we can't just hold our leaders accountable. We can't just hold the mayor and chief of police. I think that when we get to this point where we're at Milwaukee, we as a society, as a community, we all failed, and we all have to hold ourselves accountable and saying, what did we do wrong? What could I have done that maybe would have impacted somebody else, as opposed to, the chief of police, they just aren't concentrating, or the mayor, hey, we'll put that money over here. Why don't you do this? We have to hold ourselves accountable, and I think that's where change starts, is with just yourself. What can you do to help impact and prevent this from happening? So that's such a hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's such a hard subject because where do we begin?
It's not an easy solution, but there are things we can do, and one being awareness, right?
Yes.
Just bringing that awareness and helping people to know that it is, because we have people who are very naive who think this could never happen to me, or I don't live in this particular place, or whatever. But there is no particular place.
Right.
It's all over the place. So it's in every county in Wisconsin. So when he asked the question, what can I do? What would you say?
Well, you took the first step today by being here.
Yeah.
So that's the first step. And we're doing this and we're raising awareness right now. Like you started right now. Little do you know, like just being here, you
Yeah.
helped. We're doing awareness right now.
Excellent.
You know, so this is a step in the right place.
Right. So when you, Nikki, you're covering up these tattoos.
Yeah.
I guess they're all types of tattoos, big,
Totally.
small,
Yeah.
medium.
All of them. It's honestly, they vary so much, and it's really a case-by-case scenario, as far as the actual subject matter of the tattoo, or, how intricate and how dark it is and all that good stuff. All of that kind of needs to be factored into when we're thinking about cover-ups and anything like that.
Yeah. And there's nothing that says, oh, I'm a tattoo from a sex trafficker. You would never know unless
Never.
somebody told you, right?
You would never know.
And unless you have a barcode, you might think
No.
about that one.
It's certain little details, like it's certain little things that you could tell.
Definitely.
I mean, like a quote, how detailed that quote is, and it might have like an initial with his initial at the bottom of it, instead of like saying "In God We Trust" or something. In a little tweaks and a little ways, you can tell the difference between a tattoo with somebody that was in the life versus someone out of the life. If I'm wrong, you guys please say something, because I know you guys seen a ton of tattoos.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct.
And so you can really tell, like you can.
Yeah.
When
You can.
I worked with the Inner Beauty Center last year, and Deanne a little bit, she told me and kind of gave me some tips and hints of stuff to look for like that, and definitely, gave me a brief rundown of certain ones in the area too that I can kind of be more aware of. And, if I do see certain things coming in, just to let her know, hey, I just saw this, I wasn't sure, is this something that you've seen before? That sort of thing, so that way we can be a little bit more aware of, either them walking in to get it or them walking in to get it covered.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I guess from Laura's story, one of those things that's kind of a telltale factor if you have 2 or 3 women walking in wanting
Yeah.
basically the same tattoo.
Totally.
That's probably a telltale sign.
Oh, yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Not many people gonna get the exact same tattoos,
Yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of family stuff and sister tattoos.
but you can
and
tell.
Totally, there's a definite look to any sort of sex trafficking or human trafficking tattoo for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Okay. So Juan, if someone comes through a reputable organization who is a sex traffic survivor, that referral is what you would need
That
as
is
far
correct.
as taking that tattoo off
That
and
is
removing
correct.
it.
Yep. And no questions asked, no price. There's nothing up front, nothing at the end. It is 100% free. It's a free service that we at Laserfight are providing.
Does it take it all the way off?
It will take it all the way off. Everything is all dependent on you and your lifestyle. So a lot of people have seen situations where the tattoo doesn't come off 100%, and they may have underlying health issues that prevent them from getting a full treatment completely removed. And that is that to understand what a tattoo removal is. When you get down to the microscopic level of the ink, because to us it's a liquid, it's wet and it's a liquid.
Right.
But when you get down to its microscopic level, it's actually a hard stone or a metal particle that's being shoved into your skin. So for the rest of your life, your immune system is going to fight that tattoo. That's why you see the older tattoos and they look faded and old. It's because your immune system is slowly but surely chipping away at that. So you want to get rid of it. You introduce it to a pulse of energy, which is my laser. So then the laser looks for a target, depending on what I put in. It finds a target. It heats it up to 900 degrees, instantly shattering it to small particles that your immune system could remove. So if you have a healthy immune system and you don't have any underlying health issues, you should be able to have a full effective treatment.
Excellent. All right, so we're out of time, but thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. Laura, I truly thank you for sharing your story, owning your story and sharing it and helping other people. Nikki, thanks for covering it up because someone did it for her and it brought joy to her life. And Juan, just removing those tattoos is amazing. And wanting to, even though you have a business that you're trying to make revenue, to be able to and willing to do that free for the survivors is tremendous. So what you guys are doing, I say thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and it is my pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So we have gone through another episode, and wow, this is good. I am so glad. It's so nice to do an episode where we're talking about solutions to a problem and taking away, covering up, removing tattoos. That's a solution to a problem that, as Laura was saying, that's very freeing. So I'm very glad that everybody was here and able to come and talk about that. So if we said something that spoke to you, you want more information, please go to our website. It's simply www.the411live.org. You can get more information on this. You can check us out on Facebook, IGTV, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to Twitter. I want to also mention that we are a nonprofit organization. So we're trying to do a lot of things. We're trying to spread the word about sex trafficking. We're trying to give people a lot of resources. The docuseries that Laura is in, all of this takes money. And if you are so led to help us out, we would really appreciate it. Simply go to www.the411live.org and donate. We will use your money responsibly, believe me. So thank you for joining us. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. I'm Beverly Taylor. See you next time.